Well, happy Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. I see one in particular, Grumpy Stack. Good to see you here this morning. And nobody else is in the chat room yet this morning, but as they come in, we'll say hello. Welcome to It's Sunday, much more informal version of our daily show, which plays Monday through Friday on Odyssey Radio and here, simulcast. So welcome to the show, everybody. And I hope you're having a good start to your day. Hope you have some fun plans for Father's Day. Doug, Grumpy Stack, I'm sure you're already experiencing breakfast in bed with bacon and coffee and ham and eggs and things like that. Steak and eggs might even be better. So it is quiet around here, semi-quiet. Raini is gone today. She has the little one at camp. Hey, Morgan Snow. They left on Friday, so because it's the young scouts, they're only gone for a couple of days, so she'll be back with Ellery sometime between 3 and 4 today. We're pretty sure. And so it's quiet because Flynn is still asleep. He plays video games until all hours in the middle of the night. So I'm pretty sure we won't see his face until about 11 this morning. And Rowan, she's up and around already, bouncing around. So it's the three of us here. We went to see Jurassic Park, the new Jurassic World yesterday. And I won't give anything away, but I will say this. It was good, as good as it gets for movie making. I did not find it spectacular on the storytelling front. I thought it was good. It reunites everybody who's ever been a big part of Jurassic Park, blends them together. The old Alan Grant and I can't remember what's her name's role's character. I can't even remember the actress's name off the top of my head. But from the original movies, and of course Jeff Goldblum, and then it has boy, my mind is not ticking yet this morning. The guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt, and the redhead. I can't think of her name either. Look at me on a low ebb mentally this morning, not remembering anything. Hey, Kenny LaFarve, good to see you, brother. Glad you made it in this morning. Happy Father's Day to you. And a yo-ho and a bottle of herd, says Grumpy Stack. Yeah, I need coffee. I've got some in here, but it's my mug. You can tell by the name. So I'm working on it. I've been awake for about, let's see, Grumpy's been up since 5:30 for some stupid reason. Grumpy, the older you get, that will become normal. I've said that. I said it for years. Why am I waking up every day between 4:30 and 5? And this morning I woke up, my body wakes me up 4:30. I said, no. I am going back to sleep. Yesterday, I think I overdid it on popcorn and milk duds at the theater. And then I took the kids out to Chinese buffet by request. And man, the rest of the day I was fairly worthless. I think, diabetic and all that. I had a little too much candy without prepping myself for doing that the right ways. And by eating a box of milk duds. And although I shared those with Rowan. And so I was pretty out of it for the afternoon. I got home and I was dragging my ass. We got home about 3:30-ish. And I said, I got to lay down. We went to a matinee yesterday, and the candy took it out of me. It knocked the Mickey out of me, as they say. So I didn't clear up until about 10 o'clock last night. And by then, I was like, I'm going to bed anyway. And So the movie, I would say, if you're into Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, go see it. I didn't find it being an exceptional movie in the series even. I think they had better movies in the series of movies. But Grumpy has to call me today about that program. Oh, yeah. Let's do that today, too. There's a couple of things I have to do. I have to do a job for a client when I get off radio today. Something that was rather rush. And I didn't see it till yesterday morning, and we already had plans all day yesterday, so I couldn't touch it. So this morning, I'm going to be, after we're done here this morning, I'm going to be working on that a little bit. And then just doing dishes up and stuff so it looks nice when Raini gets in. I hate for her when she's gone. I hate for her to walk into a messy house, and it was messy when she left. So I've got to do a couple of things and get these other two kids motivated to let's make it look really nice for when Mom walks in the door. So it feels good being home. I know home is home. But when I go off and I'm gone for a few days, either up in Andes or speaking at a conference or something like that, it was always nice to walk in and home was Rainy prepped the house for me being home. And but sometimes I'd come home and it was a disaster. And she'd say in the car if she was picking me up at the airport, the house is a disaster. So, I think our house has been a disaster for 10 years. At least. Those of you who are dads and, of course, moms, you know what that's like when you got kids running around all the time. And kids tend to mess it up faster than you can clean it up. And so we're at that stage. It seems like we've been at this stage for a couple of years, but impressing upon our children that this is your home. This is where you live. Take some pride in it. Mom and dad, the old line, I'm not your maid. That's the way we are around here. Fathers always prep the house from time to time, says Kenny LaFavor. And and we do. I like my house a certain way. Grumpy Stack, you heard it wasn't good. I would say it was only good from the perspective that it was fun to watch. Fun to watch dinosaurs, CGI, and all of that stuff. Fun to see the actors all together. But I wonder how actors in those movies feel about those movies after they create them and they watch them at the premiere and they're like, and that didn't turn out quite the way we all wanted it, did it? So probably have their moments, and that's about it. So I didn't find it to be a very good movie. It was just entertainment. Something other things I would rather spend my, what is it? Oh, something I would rather spend my money on other than that movie. But that's what Flynn wanted to see, and I let him choose. So there it is. What other movies are out that I'd want to see? How about you guys? What other good movies are out? Being a dad, where do you want to take your kids? And by the way, I am going to talk a little bit about Father's Day today and get your input. I've got a list of 30 things, 30 different things up here that are the 30 best things about being a dad and why being a dad is one of the most fulfilling, life-affirming, gobsmacking things that you can do. And so just remember when you become a father, now, mothers, I don't want to exclude you, but you had Mother's Day. This is Father's Day. When you become a father, everybody is happy to tell you all the hard things about becoming a parent. Oh, boy, you're going to be a dad. Oh, whew. Boy, your next 18 years are spent plus. And you're not going to sleep for the first 6 months, even as a dad. Mom gets up many times. It's mom who gets up most of the time. Mom gets up in the middle of the night and feeds the baby. especially if she's breastfeeding. Dads can't get up and do that. Now, like with Raini, she would, what's the proper word for it? Express breast milk, put it in the freezer. And you can put it into, warm it up in a pan of warm water. And you could bottle feed the baby that way when we were strictly breastfeeding. And so there was always breast milk around, which isn't any good in coffee. It doesn't give it the head that you want your coffee to have if you use cream in your coffee. So, Barry, good to see you, Elder Barry. Glad to have you. And hey, Jim Dawson, good to see you. I don't know if you've been here before or not. If you have, and I'm just slipping on your name, sorry about that, but welcome to the program. And anybody else slipping in while I wasn't watching, but where I was yapping instead of looking. So anyway, that first 6 months of being a dad, I remember that because I remember I was told very early on that when my wife and I were wondering why no babies were coming. So about 31 years ago, thereabouts, I was told that my doctor said it exactly this way. Mr. Roberts, I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but I do not believe you will ever father children. And I'm like, oh. And he says, but we can put you on some drugs and we will see what we can do. So not that you need to know this so much, other than that it's fun to talk about now. The male ejaculate carries with it about, on average, 200 million sperm. Did you know that? 200 million of them. And it's only one of those guys that has to get through the female defenses to create a matchup and make a baby. And my doc said I didn't have 200 million by my samples. And I won't even talk to you about how fun it is to give samples of your ejaculate to the nurse. You know, you can bring it home. You know, it's not like you can sit there and do it in their own restroom. Okay, I'll be out in 4 minutes. Or you can take the bag and the kit home with you. And I said, I think I have better ways to to do this. And so you give the sample, and of course you bring it in what's like a brown lunch bag with your little sealed container in it. And so you bring it in, and they did the testing, and they said where the average male is supposed to have about 200 million per shot. I was at like between 4 and 5 million. So it wasn't that it was impossible. But he was saying it's pretty much a good bet that you're not going to be able to father children because the female defensive system will treat that like something that's not supposed to be there, and it will kill them off. It kills off 150 million of them in the first 2 seconds. So the likelihood was very low, I was told. And what we didn't know at the time was that it was my ex-wife, Abby Brennan Sam's mom, was that she was already pregnant when he was telling us that. And we just didn't know it. And not only was she pregnant, she was pregnant with twins. I remember it was about the 10th or 11th week when we found out she was having twins. And it was nutty. I remember at the office, I was a creative director for a big company, and my direct boss was the CEO of the company. And he said, "Kid," he said, "you're going to be worthless here the rest of the day. Why don't you just go home?" I said, "I think I will." And so everybody was kind of partying for me at the office. "Oh, you made 2. You know, and oh, double trouble. That's all we got with that, too. And they were actually double joy still 30 years later. I can say that. So Anyway, guys, Top Gun is a macho patriotic movie. Kenny, I want to see that one. I do want to see that. I've heard nothing but good stuff about Top Gun. And so that's what you get, by the way. That's what the point we were on is. That's what you get from everybody when you're a father for the first time. Oh, diapers, tantrums, messes, confusion, no sleep at night, and so on. My ex-wife breastfed very early and continued that for about 6 months with our twins, and so she was up all the time. And I remember at that phase getting criticized from my mother-in-law for not waking up to feed the children when I didn't produce anything. So I said, you know what? I get up as much as I can. Sometimes Raini would wake up, or not Raini, Annette, my ex-wife. She'd wake up with the kids, and I wouldn't even wake up. And it was like she made sure it didn't affect me so much. And Raini kind of was very much that way. So they ain't your children. They the mailman's cheering. And the mailman's name is Bobby Roberts. There it is. Thank you, Grumpy Stack, for that vote of confidence. And let's see, Matthew Sainsbury, good morning. Good to see you. Happy Father's Day today. You remembering your father today, I'm sure. I don't know if Barbados has Father's Day the same day we do, but happy Father's Day with your remembrances of your dad. And we're just talking about the best things about being a dad. Matthew Sainsbury, you ever think about being a Matthew? You got a girl? Are you dating anyone? Are you planning on getting married? You going to be a dad someday? You want to be a dad? You had a good role model, I know. How about all the rest of you guys out there that are single and don't have children? Do you want to have children? Those of you men who have children, how has it been for you guys? So anyway, all your friends around you make it sound like a nightmare being a dad. At the same time, they're congratulating you. Oh, there goes your life. I guess we'll never see you bowling again or whatever, add the list. We got all that ribbing as well. The first year of parenthood, it is said, is more emotionally traumatizing than surviving a divorce or unemployment or the death of a partner. Yikes, all of those things. So it's more traumatizing than that, if you can believe that. Being a dad's hard to do unless you're the kind of dad that walks away. Do you walk away from your responsibilities? I know everybody's got their justifications for their actions, but what about dads who don't stick around to watch their kids grow up? Dads that have better things to do. Dads that don't stick to being what they created. It's only only a man can make himself a dad. But can a man make himself, how do I want to say that? A dad makes himself, is self-made. You don't have sex, you're not going to have kids. You don't create a pregnancy, you don't have to worry about ever being a dad. Once you do that, how many guys stick to the stuff? Stick to what they should be, a dad to those kids. I'm talking even if the marriage falls apart for whatever reason, why do so many dads walk away from their kids when their relationship breaks up? Not the kids that you're having a bad relationship with. So why do the children suffer? I speak of some of that from experience. I speak of some of that watching it so much. When I was in my ministry days, saw so much of that stuff going on. Kenny LaFarve says, 36 years of fatherhood experience, good and bad. 36 years, brother. It's a long time to be something, isn't it? 36 years. A lot of people say, Their jobs, they hold the average job is 2.5 years holding a job. Imagine holding that same job for 36 years. Have you got the gold watch yet, Kenny? Grumpy Stack says, I slept like a baby when my daughter was a baby, up every 2 to 3 hours for an hour at a time. Yeah. The twins, when we had them, they were within a couple of weeks. We didn't know whether to be happy about it or worried about it. They were sleeping through the night. My ex-wife would get 8 hours of sleep, and those babies wouldn't wake up. There were times we thought, are we supposed to be waking them up if they don't wake up naturally? Now, Abby and Bryn were tiny babies. They were 4 pounds, 12 ounces, and 5 pounds, 2 ounces. I still remember that. That's the first time I was a dad with those two. Yeah, Chad, you're right about that. Those kinds of guys we were talking about, those deadbeat dads, they aren't dads. They're just sperm donors. And that's the truth. And they don't want to have anything to do with their kids. Is Phineas getting pampered this morning, more than likely? Asked Grumpy Stack. Yeah, I haven't seen him. So he must be getting pampered for Father's Day. And I think when we're done here, I'll probably go make pancakes for my kids that are here. We'll do something like that. Or we'll go to breakfast. I don't know. Then again, everybody's going for breakfast, right? We used to go to, there was a little restaurant in New Richmond when the kids were little that, little, and Ellery wasn't even in existence yet. She's only 7. But we used to go to a little cafe in town in New Richmond. That's all of 4 city blocks long, and country town. And there was a little greasy spoon type place there that served great food, but they had a breakfast buffet. That was the best. I loved that place. They had like biscuits and gravy and pancakes and waffles that were in their bins staying warm, and bacon and sausage, and usually scrambled eggs and some kind of potatoes, like hash browns or the little cubed, potato hash brown type of thing, and all kinds of other little extra stuff and toast and jellies. And I used to love going there. We'd go there, at least once every couple of weeks. We'd head over there on a Saturday or a Sunday. And so I miss that place. They got sold, and that place stopped the breakfast bar, as far as I can remember. So, but it's been years since I've even looked for it. That was the best. On Sunday morning. Maybe not the healthiest food, and it wasn't bad food at all. It was pretty good. Oh, I think we stopped going to stuff like that when Raini went all gluten-free. She doesn't, she can't eat at a lot of places. When we want to go out to eat, it's usually a couple of places we can choose from that have gluten-free food. And she's like, no, let's just all go and I just won't eat. And I'm like, I'm not going to go out with the whole family and have my wife not able to eat. Come on. Grumpy Stack says, my wife is at work. My daughter's going to work, and the boys are off doing their things. So I will do some work with program. There you go. So this whole thing about being a dad, there's things that make it the best job in the world. Of course, there are the downsides. Sometimes that downside. Now, maybe some of you who have jobs that are very secure and things like that don't experience this quite as much. But don't we all as dads worry about taking care of our families? And not just taking care of our families financially and building a future for them, but at the same time being concerned about prepping yourself for that day you're not going to be there anymore, and making sure your wife is going to be taken care of and your kids will be taken care of. Now, I'm not excluding moms from this, and nowadays we have to be very careful not to do that. But this is Father's Day, so we're talking about fathers. And it still is basically in that camp, is where when you've got a whole family, it's dads that are worrying about taking care of everybody, doing what they need to do. They're not as nurturing as moms by nature. It's the way we're wired. Moms nurture kids better than dads. Dads sometimes have to work at that. We're going to cover that in our list of things. But dads are always concerned about making sure that the family is taken care of. And that fits right into the way a guy is physiologically wired. Because guys, we're out there to, what do they say? A woman's self-esteem is built by the people around her, by her family, by her relationships. Guys, our self-esteem is built out of what? What we can achieve, what we can conquer, what we can make, the things that we do. And that's just now, it's a generalization, but it's a truth as well. So all those things go on biologically within us. As for all you guys that are concerned about what it takes to keep your family going, if you've got a good job, you stick in that good job. Sometimes, even when you don't like it, because you say, "This is what I got. This is what I got to do." For me, a freelancer, it's a roller coaster ride. Some months we're like, "Yeah, we're gonna make it." Other months we're like, "We ain't making it this month." And so, it goes up and down, but that's always your concern. Grumpy says he's going to Atlanta for 4 days for a business trip, vacation. I almost read that as Vatican. Your Vatican vacation. Oh, it's a priestly seminar. I got it. I haven't gone away for over 1.5 years, he says. Year and a half. I thought that said 15 years. He's going to go, man. Let's see, and I'm almost burnt out. Well, it's a good time for you to get away. Take a few days, brother. And when mom supports that, you go. Raini always supported my trips to Egypt. I've been to Egypt 4 or 5 times. I still have to count. I still can't remember. We'll say, to be conservative, we'll say 4 times. It's probably 5 times. And every time I've gone, I haven't gone for less than, I think the shortest trip I took was 26 days to Egypt. And mostly it was around 30 days that I'd go to Egypt. Not much difference when you're looking at the calendar, but Rainy was home for a month, 4 or 5 times over the last 12 years with those kids. And we would communicate almost every day where we had internet connection. But she was willing to do that so I could take those trips. Now, they weren't all vacation trips, although going to Egypt, you might as well be going for vacation. Excuse me. That first trip I went was with John Ward, and we traveled around for 30 days looking at things in relation to writing our book, The Exodus Reality. And he lived there, so we got all over the place. You all know those stories. And the next trip, he and I formed a tour for people to come along with us and kind of repeat the trip we made the year before. And we had people there for 2 weeks, and then I stayed on for another week and a half. And then there were through two other times, I think is all it was, that I went to Egypt after those. So, oh, your wife is coming with you. It's a learning business trip and no kids. How nice. Last time Rainey and I took an official trip together, she won tickets on a radio station to hear Mumford and Sons, one of her favorite bands. And they were playing in the Hamptons in New York. And so she won tickets to that, and we got free airfare and all of that. And we were out in the Hamptons for 3 days, which was kind of fun. That was nice being away with everybody. And we're hoping to, Rainey and I would like to get a trip for just she and I. One of these knows is Ron. Yeah, Mom and Dad.
Last year or 2 years.
What did we do last year?
Whenever you went to that concert.
I was just talking about that. That was 2 years ago.
Well, that sucks. You didn't bring us anywhere last year, so you owe us one.
Yeah, that sucks. We didn't do anything with the kids last year.
No, you didn't bring us to New York
Mm.
or Hollywood or Florida.
Didn't bring them to New York, Hollywood, or Florida, my 10-year-old daughter says. Why don't you come over here and complain to everybody? Tell everybody how bad that is. Here, you come on over here. And let me spread that over that way so she can come over and join us. This is no, put the dog down. You don't need the dog. It's just a hassle. All right. All right, you tell them your life of woe.
Well, so Dad didn't take us anywhere for the last 10 years of our life, or my
fatty.
life. He hasn't taken me anywhere, except home.
Except
and
home.
Abby and Bryn took me to Florida, so now Dad owes me a trip to go somewhere.
Abby and Bryn took us all to Florida.
And Lucy's coming with us.
So, Snooty Hamptons. I grew up an hour away from there, says Grumpy Smith. They were snooty. So, hi, Rowan, says Matthew Sainsbury from Barbados. Maybe we should go to Barbados.
No.
That's in the Caribbean.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's vacation spots. It's like going to the turquoise water and scuba diving and white sand beaches. So, so there you go. There you have the woes of Rowan. That the dog looks really happy to be there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Well, she's not arguing. That's Lucy Fur. So, boy, she's getting tubby. Look at that. It's because everybody feeds her stuff.
Ellery lets her friends.
I've told everybody, don't feed the dog scraps.
Yeah, Ellery lets her friends feed them everything.
So. Yeah, that's dumb. Yeah, typical description of a child's life. Yep, I am so... Oh, I just am, it's so sad here and forlorn. I don't get to go anywhere ever.
And you owe me a new candle.
I owe you a new candle, yeah.
He destroyed my candle. He left it burning all night.
I forgot about it. When we were doing our ghosty stuff Friday night's show.
Yes.
I lit that candle in the background and I forgot about it. It burned all night.
Yeah, I let him use this, and now you owe
So it's a safe candle.
Another pumpkin
we didn't
apple
burn down
candle. I like
pumpkin apple fritter. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
it smelled Halloweeny around here. So anyway, okay, be gone. That's all I needed you for. Bye. I'm making a smoothie.
What are you doing?
So nice cuddling, Rowan, says Matthew Sainsbury. So this whole thing of being a dad, we're a half hour in, and we haven't even started talking about these 30 things. These are some great ideas. Not ideas, the best things about being a dad. And this is the first one, and this doesn't last forever, by the way, this first one. I'll put that little caveat in. But when your kids are little, your kids think you know everything. Dad knows everything. And it's probably the only time in your life where someone's going to automatically assume that your knowledge of the world is unlimited and unassailable. That's my kids are they're still that way too a little bit now. They come down with some really weird stuff, And when they're little, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green? Why do trees grow in the yard? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some of those nature questions. I had Rowan that one not long ago, and we talked about it when she brought some of these things up. But was asking me questions about nuclear war, radiation, fallout. What happens if that was back when Putin was saying things after he invaded Ukraine. He was talking about, and if anybody messes with us, there will be a reaction that's like blah 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 blah. It's like he's not that stupid, and I don't think the people around him are that stupid that they would allow him to push the button. So that would be annihilation for everybody. But I had to talk to my kid about that. What do you know about this? Tell me about it. They didn't even ask, what do you know? Tell me about this. I need to know more. You know, that's a step up from why does hair grow on my arm? And why is it different and not as long as the hair on my head? So, but kids usually believe anything that comes out of your mouth. I used to, with Abby and Bryn when they were little, I used to do the dad things with them all the time. You know, there was a little McDonald's. This is just an example. There was a little McDonald's in a shopping center here, and it was tucked in, and it had only one arch. It just had the one golden arch, and it said McDonald's. And why does that one only have one arch? I said, well, that's the half Donald's. Half Donald's? I said, yeah, that's where everything you get, you don't have the double arches, you've got the single arch, because everything's in half. They give you, when you order a cheeseburger, it's cut in half. You get a half a cheeseburger. You get a half order of fries. You get a half a drink. I said, it's McDonald's attempt to try to make America a more fit nation. And I have to think, my kids had to be 6 or 7 or 8 years old, something like that, when I was telling them this. No, really? I said, yeah. And so when they're teenagers, says Kenny LaFarve, they, except when they're teenagers, you just don't know. Yeah. And when they're teenagers, they're like, Dad doesn't know nothing. And they think they know everything at that point in life. That's where being a dad is helping them figure out that they don't know shit. All right. Second thing on this list about being one of the best things about being a dad. Your kids can't imagine anyone being stronger than dad. Now, this is, of course, is when they're small. And to a certain extent, it's true. You know, my kids, I had a pretty good power base a few years ago, physically. And I'm a little weaker nowadays, it seems. But for certain reasons, surgery reasons and stuff like that, heart junk, I'd have to rebuild that all up. And sometimes you're just like, I just don't want to anymore. I got to stay in shape, but I don't feel like pumping iron or anything anymore. But anyway, you might not have, Arnold's muscle where you are pumped up. But as far as your kid's concerned, there's nobody with more raw power than their daddy. And you can open up bottle caps and jars that you can lift heavy objects. You can carry them around like they're light as a feather. I used to throw sofas up on my shoulder and carry them when we'd move and stuff like that. And like, holy cow. And we carried them around like they're light as a feather. I used to do a thing with my kids called magic carpet rides. We'd put them, we called it a magic pillow ride. It was the sofa pillows. And I'd put my kids on their knees and lift them up and fly them around the house. We'd run through the house and fly. Whoo, on the magic carpet. You hang on to the edges. And they're like, oh, and it was fun times. But those were where I don't think I would do that without dropping to the ground nowadays. Running around the house with my kid over my head on a pillow. And hey, Leslie Holker, can't stay, but wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day. Thank you very much. And I will have a beautiful day, and you too. Thanks for stopping in with that, Leslie. That means a lot. Kids also, third thing, they force you to slow down. Before having kids, you probably thought nothing of working through the night if you had to, or answering emails well into the evening. But when you become a dad or a daddy, you suddenly want your nights and weekends back. You want to turn off the laptop. You want to power down your phone. You want to be present for your family. If your dad needs to keep track of hours, There are ways to help him do that, by the way. But if you notice, you watch this show on a regular basis, most of you who are here on Sunday mornings. When we do the Intrepid radio program, I've had some complaints from some people that I let my kids and my wife into the show too much. And Raini's an exception because she usually tries to do Sunday mornings with me. But the kids around, part of that is because I'm biting into their time, even though we have them in bed before 9 o'clock. Technically, that's the rule. You got to be in bed, school time especially. You got to be in bed by 8:30. But 8 o'clock when they were younger. And so then I'd usually figure we got them asleep before my show even starts. And so I would do my show. And now they're just up all the time. So they get to come in. That's how they can be around me and experience the things I'm doing. I let them come in and be part of the show. It's like I say, this show is my life. This is who I am. So I tell people, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen. And because my family sometimes breaks in, sometimes the little girls are pretty obnoxious about it, though. They're taking liberties and freedoms like they do whenever you have guests over or something. Kids can tend to try to usurp that time. That's what my kids do here on the radio. That's just the way it is. So, but being a dad is something that slows you down a little bit. You aren't up all the time, all night. You're doing other things. You're doing things with your kids. Another fun thing about being a dad makes it a great job. Number 4 is you get to show them the world. Now, I enjoy that part of it. Now, we don't internationally travel. I've never done that with the kids yet. Mostly money. Costs a lot of money to travel internationally with a family. But when we do travel, we do go places. I like to show them the world. You can show them the world from your computer as well when you can't physically get everybody away to somewhere. But there's so many amazing things that you want them to see and experience. And it's hard to know where to even begin with that list. And do you want to take them to the Grand Canyon? Do you want to? I want to go to the Custer Battlefield this summer. If we can squeeze it into everything that's going on this summer, that schedule just keeps filling up. And of course, filling up, there's another problem nowadays. What would have cost us $400 for gas for that trip a couple of years ago is now costing us $800 for that trip. And when you're figuring and calculating in, it's going to cost me almost $1,000 just to put gas in the car to get to the place and back. Then comes your hospitality money, like staying at a motel or camping even somewhere, or the food and the attractions you see and things like that. Traveling is a lot more expensive right now than it was even 2 years ago. And we all know why. And we won't go into that. But so sometimes it's just going to be more about staying closer to home and camping, stuff like that. My background needs a starship. That's right, Russ. There's Russ from the Federation. Yes, the backyard needs a starship. Ain't that the truth? Thought about that. I thought about building the pirate ship version of a starship in the backyard, but yes, it certainly does. We want to go out to, speaking of Russ being here, we've talked about the end of September 24th. All of us that want to make it, it's not an official, we sponsor the trip, but you can join us up in Ticonderoga, New York, to go see the original Star Trek set, the original series set tours. And they're all rebuilt, of course, but laid out from the blueprints from the Desilu studios from the 60s. And James Crowley has built these sets, and they're extensive and they're gorgeous. And but it starts coming down to, when we started planning this trip, gas wasn't where it is now. Where's it going to be in 3 months? Right now, we calculated just driving from here to there, Ticonderoga, and back again is going to cost us over $850 just for gas, only gas. And so you have to start calculating nowadays, especially. You got to calculate, okay, going places and doing things has suddenly become really expensive to do. Gas prices have just about doubled since we planned this. That's right, Russ. Since we started planning this just a few months ago, gas prices have almost have doubled. And so, like I say, where it was going to cost us, we thought about $400 to $450 in gas, which is doable, suddenly becomes $800 and $900 in gas. That's become ridiculous. So hopefully we'll see some changes on that front, and it won't continue to go up. But these are some of the things I'm talking about. Number 5 about being a good dad, or enjoying the best life of being a dad, is that you're no longer the center of the universe. For maybe the first time ever in your lives, guys, and I'm speaking to guys, not that moms don't have to play mom and dad sometimes. In my case, it was the opposite. I played dad, and I was dad and mom, because I had sole custody of my 3 kids. And their mom was not absentee, but might as well have been. And so for the first time ever, you care about somebody else more than you care about yourself. You care about their happiness and their health, their sense of well-being, their personal security. It's more important to you than your own. And you would give up everything for them without even a second thought. Now, for me, rather than give up things, now there are certainly things I gave up being a dad. All of you guys could think of the same thing. What are the things that you give up when you become a dad? You can make your own list, but I know there's things I don't do. Maybe they seem small and trivial, but it's like I don't get out to the Irish pub once or twice a week anymore to meet my friends. Just don't have time for it. There's other things to do. In the evenings, it's probably not a good thing for dads to go out drinking with the boys, which sounds very negative, but we just don't do that. We don't have that much time to do that anymore. You make time for doing things with your kids. And, of course, you can't wait till they're in bed and asleep. You and mom, usually. Whew, the kids are down. As we used to say, I said to Raini once, well, the kids have gone down, and the cat has gone down, and the dog has gone down. I think it's only appropriate that you should go down too. So there's that kind of thing that goes, activities between moms and dads. But usually if you've been a mom or a dad for a number of years, like right now, it's like the best times is when it's quiet and we can sleep. So anyway, you get the point I'm making. Peace and quiet, says Morgan Snow. Exactly. No, Russ, you're not interrupting. You just drive to the Federation HQ in Huron, and we'll take it from there. There you go. We'll get it worked out one way or the other. Russ, you're not interrupting at all. Everybody just blurts out what they want to blurt out. And that's fine. So the 5th thing, or 6th thing I've got, is you're going to feel young again when you're a dad. And how did we make it so long through adulthood without remembering that playing hide and seek is one of the most single best ways to spend an afternoon? Unless you let yourself be overburdened with all the things you have to do. I know we had a saying in when I was in church work, and we said it rather tongue-in-cheek, but we kind of meant it too, was if the devil can't make you bad, he'll make you busy. And you can look at that any way you want. If you look at the devil, if you believe in a literal devil or the evil one, or an evil that's there to thwart us from being our best selves, if he can't make you bad, make you do bad, make you busy. So, that's I've experienced a lot of that around here. So remembering to play with our kids, monkey bars, swings. And if you haven't been on a swing for so long that your thighs start to hurt, it's possible you haven't really lived doing things with your kids. I don't get on swings much anymore. Believe it or not, swings affect my inner ear these days. Any kind of motion like that, I am more susceptible now than ever in my life. It's weird. It's a weird thing. Everything makes me dizzy. And so to look as young as you feel is also important. That's an important guy thing to do. Keep yourself looking as young as possible. I look at Grumpy Stack. Look at what he's done for his life in losing 200 plus pounds. He's changed himself. He's revolutionized his life. And that after hauling around that much extra weight, imagine how good that feels to have that 200 pounds gone. And he's still dropping. He's shaping up. Now he's toning. And same thing, here. I weigh more now than I weighed when my kids were born. But if you can stay in shape with them, it's revolutionizing to your life. You find ways to have that fun with them. Number 7 is you relearn how to use your imagination. How imaginative are you with your kids? Do you believe in fairies? I'm talking about the fairy folk, the fae. Do you believe in that stuff? How about robots? AI is becoming a big thing nowadays. It can only be stopped with elaborate booby traps, these monsters that you make up for your kids. Have you ever sat under your bed covers and pretended that you were floating in outer space? Or have you had in-depth discussions about candy and stuffed bears with your kids? If you're a dad, you've probably done at least a few of those things. Some of it might seem silly or frivolous, but you have to maintain your silliness and your frivolity, if you will. Grumpy says it feels amazing. It's hard work, but it's well worth it. And you're welcome. Well-deserved praise. So happy Father's Day to you too, Durwood. Glad to have you here this morning. So, when you're a dad, we kind of talked about this. Another thing, the 8th thing, is late night feedings. You feed your kids. Well, that's supposed to be one of the most terrible parts of being a dad. That's what we're all told at the beginning anyway, right? Oh, you'll be up all night with that kid. But those 4 a.m. feedings, those 2 a.m. feeding. 2 a.m. wasn't as bad as 4 a.m., I'll tell you that. Just later into the night. So when it's just you and the baby, you're rocking your baby, putting that baby to sleep, listening to their breathing, talking with them, singing to them, whatever you do. I sang to my babies all the time. I sang to my babies before they were born, and I would read to them before they were born. I remember with Abby and Bryn, and we're talking, this is 31 years ago. I would read to them in vitro as they started getting bigger inside of mom's belly. I read Treasure Island to them with all the vices I might had. And it's our Jim Hawkins. You listen here, Jim Hawkins, and so on and so forth. And they would become unbelievably animated inside their mom when they heard me reading, kicking and moving around. And she would just, my wife at the time, she was just like, look at that. And you could see like the feet on her belly skin. You would see the foot move. And, it's kind of like watching this, you see that, whoa, you'd see a foot move across and stuff like they would move around whenever I would read or sing to them. And so that was pretty cool. And I continued that after they were born. So number 9 is embarrassing your kids. Now, it might take until they're teens before it finally happens, or like mine when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. But it's going to happen. Something you do or say or something you wear is going to be incredibly embarrassing to your kids. And you'll find it absolutely hilarious. And you'll keep doing it because of that. One of the inalienable rights of being a parent is making your son or daughter cringe or squirm at your unapologetic dadness. Yes, I like wearing black socks up to my knees when I mow the lawn in my shorts. Or you go do it. I've done that where I mowed the lawn in boxer shorts. I'll never wear. I'm sorry, my fashion sense is too great to wear up to the knee black socks while I'm mowing the lawn. I won't even wear up to the knee white socks. My doc tells me because of diabetes and circulation, all that, I need to wear those compression socks. So I got about 12 pair of those. Now, I'll wear them when I'm wearing long pants. But if I'm wearing shorts, many times, like today, I just got my shoes slipped on. I'm no socks at all. I used to walk around barefoot in the summers, especially. I'd roll up the bottoms of my long pants, jeans or the kind of pants I'm wearing now, and just roll them up and up to mid-calf and walk around barefoot all the time. Now, hurts my feet more the older I get, so I don't do that as much. I got more Legos around than I've ever had in any time in my life. So that is something that I like to avoid. So, but nowadays, I don't even remember what my point was with that. You get it. So there's things that you're going to do, things that you'll embarrass your kids with. Ours is Raini and I kissing in front of my kids. Kiss or hug. And then I was like, ew, don't do that. Ew. Or Raini walks over here when we're on the radio. And she's standing here, and I'll put my hand and I'll touch her butt. My kid's like, stop touching mom's butt. And now we just do it to embarrass them sometimes. I'm hugging mom. And I have to elbow my kids out of the way. No. This is my time. I'm hugging mom. I'm about to mow the lawn in my wife's thongs and white New Balance sneakers and gray dress socks. Man, Grumpy, you are... I want pictures of that. Grumpy Stack in his wife's white thongs. His wife's thongs and white New Balance sneakers. There you go. You do that. If Rainy did that, mowing the lawn wouldn't last very long. But yeah, I mowed the lawn yesterday. A pair of, beater pants on and tennis shoes and black t-shirt. Boom. Mow the lawn. Get it done before it gets really hot. And so I mowed the lawn at like 8 yesterday morning. We bought that new electric mower. We had the gas mower. We've had it for years, and it's all wired up in certain ways. You had to unplug the spark plug to stop it, and the thing just stopped working. And so we splurged and we bought on Amazon, on an electric chargeable mower. That thing is nice, and it's quiet. So I figured at 8 o'clock, you usually don't want to start mowing the lawns in the neighborhood on a Saturday until after 9. But at 8 o'clock, I started that up. You push the button, it goes, vroom. It's like driving a Tesla, the electric car. It makes no sound. So I was like, "Ooh," and I mowed the lawn. So that was pretty cool. That was yesterday morning, but I did not do it with long black socks up to my knees. Having kids is like getting a full-time personal trainer. Well, up to a certain point anyway. One thing you can't do with a small child is sit and do nothing and be lethargic. They want to be chased. They want you to chase them. They want to chase you. Sometimes up steep inclines and down slides and across grassy parks that seem to go on forever. Never stops. Even when you insist that it's time for bed, okay, no more pillow fighting now. You can't take it anymore. You have to become a parent to a tiny pubescent workout trainer. That's what they're like, prepubescent. And anyway, the 11th thing is you're more aware of your own bad behavior or your own behaviors. Maybe bad behavior is a bad way to put it. I don't drink as much as I used to. You know why? I got kids. I can't sit. I got sitting over here. It's been sitting here for 6 months. This little can of Guinness right here. Oh, big can. I brought it out one night because I was going to drink that, and I didn't because I like to keep my wits about me. I don't like to lose control of anything, and so alcohol has become something that gets back shelved. I love a good single malt Highland Scotch, as you all know. Sometimes we've done it on this show. You saw Sam and me when we were down in Louisiana last year. We went through that sampler of Glenmorangie single malt Highland Scotches and those little bottles of Scotch, and we cracked every one of those and gave you our things like that. Smoking a little weed. I don't do that like I used to, and I was never big at that on that. Don't lose respect for me because I do, because I don't care. But I did it every now and then. But as a parent, rare if ever. Except for Sam and I last year down in Louisiana. And or if Andy slips me 3 THC gummies for back pain. That one put me under. So law equals lawn, says Morgan Snow. He mows his lawn on Saturday mornings at 7. Yeah, you're not supposed to do it that early for neighborhood. Aren't there any ordinances around there? Just remind him, hey, dude, love the way your lawn looks, but please don't do it at 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. And there's even an ordinance that says you can't do that until 9. And be neighborly. Go talk to him. Don't call the police or the county. Just go. You see him out and said, hey, nice lawn. Can I ask you about Saturday mornings? Would you be please not mow your lawn before 9 a.m. on Saturday? Oh, you're out in the country. That's different. You'll get farmers up working their fields at 7 a.m. So I see. So we have an electric lawnmower, says Grumpy Stack. You can barely hear it. Yeah, that's the way ours is. It's nice. It's really nice. We had an electric mower once before, and when I had ordered it off of Amazon, and I inadvertently got the one that had a cord. It wasn't chargeable. And so for one season, we used that, and I was constantly flipping that long cord around bushes and flowers and stuff like that. It was a pain in the butt. And so we got rid of that. We sold it at a garage sale and went back to the gas mower. Now we've got this nice electric mower. It's nice. It's even got a little thing. It folds up, whoosh, click, and it stands upright. You can pick it up and set it over there. And it doesn't even take up room, which is nice. And it's quiet and it's clean and it mulches, which I like. I don't like grass clippings. I like the mulcher. You don't even notice it. Hey, thank you, Matthew Sainsbury. This one's Scotty, as you can see. Engineer Scott. This is all Matthew, if you didn't know this, and anybody else. This is all my artwork I do on these. Those are my own digital illustrations. That's the one I did for Chief Engineer Scott, known as Scotty. And I've got all 8 of the major characters from Star Trek in these tumblers. If you want them, go to Raini's TwoLoonsTumblers.com or just ask me and we'll work it out. Russ has a bunch of these. Russ, I don't know if you're still there. Do you have the ones with the new with the Star Trek type face in it? Or do you have the older version? I don't remember. There was a version 1, and then I changed it all to the new ones. I just redid Captain Kirk's the other day, as a matter of fact. Matthew, you've given me a chance to brag. Let me show you guys something. Here's the new Kirk. Oh, I got him. Is he even in here? He's not in that one. I'm just going to open him up, and I'll show you. I don't know if you remember what the old one looked like. I think I have them both here. Let's see. Let's look at Kirk. And I've got the new ones and the old ones. Okay, there's the old one. And I'm going to bring up the new one as well. I'll do this so I can show you how they look. Even the old typefaces and stuff. So let's see, Kirk Tumbler. There he is. Revised. Okay. And I'll fit these to the screen so you can see them. Just because Matthew brought it up. Now this one doesn't have the old type on it. Let me get one that's got the old type on it as well. Let's look for the Kirk with the old type. That's that one. Let's see if I've got it anywhere else. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I don't. Because I think I saved over the old one. Because I wasn't into it. Nope, I don't. So I'll just show you the new one. I'll start with the old one. Here you go. Share my screen with you. Share screen, share. Boom. All right. Let's go over here to Photoshop. There is the original one I did. That's the first version of Kirk. And I would do the if I blow this way up, I would do a line pen and ink work in Photoshop. So it's Photoshop, it's digital pen and ink. And then I would put down color on a layer underneath, and I would give him skin tones, and then I would do all my airbrushing, like all of this stuff. You see, all this is digital airbrushing to create those. So there. That was the first one. Now I just changed him. I didn't like the way he looked. There was something about his face that just wasn't working for me. So I just redid him, and he looks like this now. And all I did was change out the head. And you can see here how I do the digital pen and ink work. It's just drawing. Mostly it's shapes. It's a tool like this. Here, I'll show you. I would go, let's say I wanted to make this whole eyebrow dark. I would just do something like this and here, and we take it over here, and now watch this. Edit and fill with black. Boom. So then I would have an eyebrow that looks like that. And to do the airbrushing, I would just take and now I don't have the layered version up here, but here we'll just create a section. We'll take a section like this. And if I wanted to, and I would go to a layer behind, and I would take, I would select over here this skin tone. So I'd create a skin tone. What can I do for you, Ro?
I have a friend come over.
Sure.
Okay.
And so I would take, and I would see how this airbrush is working. Now I've got it set on it's only 38%. If I did 100%, you can see it would fill like this. All right. And then I would take from that color, which is right here, I would say, oh, I want a little more shade in his cheeks. I might take and, do something like this. And you shade and you create the jawline. And you say, wait a minute, though, shadows aren't all about just skin tones. Sometimes they have these grayer tones to them. And so I would take this and maybe a smaller brush, and you can see now that's really dark. So I would undo that, and I would set the opacity way down. Now watch this, see? And you can get the shadow like this going down the jawline. And I might do a much bigger brush and, hit it like this. And then you take, you go back here and grab this skin tone. And I would go over here and grab a lighter skin tone, like, maybe about like that. And I can come in with my airbrush then again. And it's funny how the show just became a tutorial on how I paint with digitally. So I would do these, and I'd do the glow of the light on his cheek, and then I would use this to, if I need to lighten that up a little bit more, darken. So I could do things like that. So that's how that works. And I would do all within. I would only select the area that fell inside the ink lines. So I wouldn't be spraying color way out here. I'd just be spraying inside. And the same thing for the eyes. Work the eyes. If I blew those way up, you could see how simple it is, but how also I sprayed different colors in there and overspray a little bit, give the eye a little shadowing and things like that. So that's the way that was done. That's how I built that. And we'll just, rather than save that, we'll just revert that back to what it was. There it is. So there's the new Captain Kirk. That's how he looks. And I build the backgrounds, by the way, the same way. And creating space is real easy. If I wanted to create a star that's a starburst, first thing I'd do is I'd create the circle, and I'd fill that with white. Watch this. You can go fill with white, and I can use any color. So there's our star. Then I would take another circle, I'd go outside that one, and I'd have to make sure it's lined up right. So just perfectly circling that. And I would take and make a stroke in white. Our color, let's go to white. And that stroke, I've got, let's see how heavy it is. There, so that's like that. It's good enough. Now it's really bold like that. So I would just take the filter and I'd blur that a little bit. Oops, just blurred the whole thing. It's because I'm not on a separate layer. But I would blur this, and then I can create, all the other features of this. I can go down like this. I'll make a new layer, and I create something like this. And this is oversized, but it gives you the idea. So if I just create something that looks like this, and I fill that with white, again, boom. And then now I put this on a separate layer. So I could take this and blur this a little bit. That's too much. So I blur it about like that. And then take back the opacity a little bit. Watch. So you got something like that going on. And then this ring around here would be blurred the same way if I had it on a different layer. And I can mess around with that. I can add color to it. As you see, some of these are like there's a blue around this one over here. I would take that blue and I'm at 15% opacity with that. So I would take that and boom. And I'd add a little blue to that. Maybe a blue circle around it. Like that. And if I want it to be just a little more opaque, I add that in. So you got that blue, and I might want to put that white back in the center. So if I'm on a layer, I would just I would erase a circle out of that. But I can take this now and use my white brush and do boom, 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 like that. So anyway, that gives you an idea of how you create this stuff in Photoshop. And I'm going to revert back out of that. So there's that. And then, of course, if we're putting them on in tumblers, I've got a form I use to create these, and we put them up on Raini's website, Two Loons Tumblers. And it kind of mocks what they will look like. So we don't have to print every one of them ahead of time and waste a mug just to print it to put a picture up on the website. So now this is a mock-up. So there you go. That was a side thing that I didn't expect to be doing. I hope you enjoyed that little endeavor into how that thing works. So, hey, Romeldian, good to see you. I told my youngest she was allergic to beer, says Durwood. Nice. So, Elderberry says, my kids didn't know I smoked until they were adults. Yeah, there's certain things we just don't do, right? There's things that we don't do when we're parents, when we're dads. You go, I can't do that anymore, guys. I have friends that go, hey, can you come and have a smoke with me? Can you come and do that? Oh, yeah, my kids know I smoke now, but when they were little, I didn't smoke in front of them. I didn't drink in front of them. Not that I was like, ooh, I can't let my kids know I smoke. It's not that. I didn't want to get them smoky. I didn't drink because I didn't like to have alcohol in my system when I was being a parent. You want to be around for your kids. You want to think twice before you do other things that are harmful. My kids kind of govern the fact that I don't smoke as much as I used to. It isn't just the heart stuff. You just go, instead of a pack and a half a day, I'll have 3 cigarettes a day. That kind of thing. Too many drinks, stuff like that. I don't drink like I used to. It's just not the same anymore. Romeldi knew his dad drank. Yeah. And you know what? It's not that my kids don't know I have a beer every now and then or scotch. But I don't hide that from my children. But I just don't do it as much. Why? Because I'm a dad. I got responsibilities in life. Number 12 of this list of 30 things. There's nothing better than making your kids laugh. A child's laugh. It's caused by something you said or did. Raini was looking back. She ran across a file of all these old videos we took. That's the beauty of having a phone, that has a camera on it. Nowadays, with today's tech, we didn't have that when I was a kid. You had to take Super 8 movies or something like that. And so Raini and I took lots of films of our kids growing up. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of them. She was going through and just watching the kids laughing and the things they do, the things we did with them, and so on. It's great. It's great making your kids laugh. It's one of the most beautiful and perfect sounds that ever existed is your kids laughing. I look at Flynn now, my son who's in the throes of puberty and not as talkative. He's not as emotional, But man, when I can get him to laugh, it's fantastic. And because he used to be this giddy, giggly, fun-loving, wild, bantering kid, and it all went away when he went into puberty. So yesterday when we went to the movie, he's talkative the whole time, talk. So it was great to hear. Number 13 is your kids are going to give you renewed respect for your own dad. A grown-up son, we are. Now, I never knew my dad growing up, so my kids don't know their grandfather, which is too bad. It's a loss for them. They know him now, but they've never even met him yet. We still, every time we've tried to go out and bring the kids out there, there's something comes up or whatever. So they don't know their dad, but they've talked to him online, on videos and stuff. And he lives over near where Russ lives in Ohio. Probably a couple hours from Russ, but he's over in that general direction. He lives about a half an hour from the Serpent Mounds. And when we were at the Serpent Mounds 3 years ago, when we were driving back from Bryn's wedding out in South Carolina, we stopped at the Serpent Mounds. We were going to go see my dad and his wife, and they got sick and didn't want us to stop out. They had the flu. Well, that was what we were told. We weren't sure that's what was what. I think that there was a little intrepidation there on his wife's part, but anyway, that's all in the past. Doesn't matter what I think. But my kids didn't get to know my grandfather. And you love your dad already, we hope. But your respect for your own dads, just gets bolstered after you become a dad yourself. You never realized how challenging it was for your dad. Or moms, it can be the same thing. My dad may not have been around, so I don't have this to fall back on. But I understand what my mom did. I understand better now how to be a parent because of my mom's parenting. Did you think your dad was Superman when you were younger? Now that you're a dad, you have some perspective. You're like, oh my God, he really was Superman. So there's that. Number 14, you're going to realize just how brave you actually are when you become a dad. And I'm not talking just become a dad and your wife had a baby and you sit at home and watch TV and you go to work and you're a dad. I don't mean that way. The things you do with your kids, it takes courage to be a dad. Not just because you're the one who checks under the bed for monsters or says there's nothing living in your closet. Well, frankly, I know better than that with the stuff we do. But we have to, be brave for our own kids about that. Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about that. You hold your kid's hand through a thunderstorm. Make sure they know they're safe. You're the rock when things go wrong for your kids, or even could go wrong. You're the one. I did that just the other day. I had some boy from school was calling Rowan just over and over again. Prank calls on her. And finally she goes, Dad, I can't get him to stop doing this. I said, hand me your phone. And I waited a few minutes, and sure enough, he called her back again, and I picked it up. I said, hello, this is Rowan's dad. Can I help you with something? And he didn't say anything. He hung up. So I called him back. And I said, look, and I knew his name. She knew who it was. I said, look, Brandon. I said, my daughter's already asked you to knock it off. I said, do I need to come over and pay you and your parents a visit and have a talk about your behavior on the phone? Now, is that a good thing for my kid? I don't know. Maybe she'll get teased in school about that. But those are the things you do to help your kids. Yes.
It wasn't Brayden.
Oh, I was making up a name.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
Then never mind.
But it wasn't Brayden. Brayden did it once.
Yeah.
It was the other kid, though.
Yeah.
15,000 other times.
So I don't do that to get you in trouble with your friends. I do that to
They're not my
let
friends.
you know I stand up for you. So there you go. All right. All right. You can take that away from here.
Sorry.
All right.
accidentally pressed a button.
Okay. Let's move on with this little list. But when you're a dad, you do those things for your kids. Then with your kids, there's true unconditional love. This is the 15th thing. This is only halfway through the list. But there's unconditional love with your kids. And now we're losing people in the chat room. I think I've either the art thing turned people off, or everybody's got somewhere to go because it's Father's Day. So maybe I'll end with this one because I think people have things to do and places to go. It's getting to be 10:30, 11:30, East Coast and Central Time here. But there's true unconditional love when you're a dad. You thought you knew what unconditional love was before you had kids, but you were wrong. You didn't know anything about that until you hold hands with a little person that you helped create. And they look up at you with complete adoration and trust in who you are. You never thought that was possible. And you feel like keeping this tiny person happy and healthy and secure, that just might be your sole purpose in life. And that's when you get it. That's when you go, I'm a dad. Hey, no, that's all right. I don't want to bail just because we dropped a few numbers, but I'm thinking people have things to do. It's Father's Day. I got a few things I want to get accomplished with my two kids that are home with me this weekend. Raini will be back with Ellery, and I want our place to look nice when she gets here. And so I make the bed every day, so I don't have to worry about that part. Bed's already made. But I want the house to look nice when she walks in. So we're going to end with that today. Yeah, today's Father's Day, field guy. Time for you to say hello to your 17 illegitimate children spread across the country. So I got to call my dad. Tell him Happy Father's Day. So not gotta, I wanna. Now, remember I said I didn't grow up with him. I didn't know him until I was 30. But we've forged a pretty good relationship. So I'll give him a shout today when we're done here. 11:27 in Barbados. It's 10:27 here. We usually go to 11, but we'll knock off just a little early because people have things to do today. It's the day. And I have things to do today, too. So I want to thank you all for being here. I appreciate the fact that you were here all day today, that you took your time to be here. And we'll see you Monday through Friday this week, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Barbados time, East Coast time. And we'll continue on doing what we do with Intrepid Radio. So you know what, all of you live long and prosper, and Happy Father's Day.